It was supposed to be a routine rescue mission, a convoy sent to retrieve survivors from a doomed colony on one of Mars' moons. The colony had been struck by an unexpected and brutal magnetic storm, its communication systems jammed, and its energy grid failed. No one knew exactly what happened to the inhabitants of Callisto Station, but one thing was clear: they needed help. Earth, with its vast resources and military might, could handle it. Or so they thought. The convoy left Earth's orbit without a second thought. Led by the United Earth Forces, UEF, a mix of military personnel, engineers, and doctors, it was designed to be a peaceful, life-saving operation. But what no one anticipated was that the inhabitants of Callisto Station were not just in need of help. They were about to ignite the spark that would set off the most devastating war in human history. First shot. The convoy, consisting of 4 heavily armored rescue ships, passed the asteroid belt after 3 days of travel. At its helm was Captain Marissa Hale, a seasoned UEF officer with over 20 years of service. She had seen plenty of conflict in her time, but this mission was supposed to be different. It was a humanitarian effort, a chance to restore hope in a universe that was quickly growing more divided. "We'll be entering Callisto's atmosphere in 2 hours. Stay sharp," she called to her crew, her voice calm but authoritative. Her eyes flicked to the holomap, a projection of the moon's surface. One of the convoy ships, the Triton, reported strange signals. They appeared to be coming from the surface of Callisto Station, but they were faint and erratic, likely due to the damage to the station's systems. "Probably nothing," Captain Hale muttered. "But let's keep our eyes open. We don't know what we're walking into." The convoy dropped out of light speed and entered orbit around the moon. It was silent, almost eerily so. The once bustling station lay ahead, a desolate metal husk drifting in the darkness. Suddenly the silence was broken. A sharp, jarring explosion echoed through the fleet. It came from the Triton. "Hale, we've been hit," came the frantic voice of Commander Rodriguez over the comms. Before Captain Hale could respond, another volley of fire came from below, piercing through the Triton's shields. In a split second, the once formidable vessel began to break apart, flames licking its hull. "What in the hell is going on?" Hale barked, her hands trembling as she grabbed the comms console. "This is supposed to be a rescue mission. Open fire, return fire now." But it was too late. A third shot from the surface of Callisto Station struck the Triton directly in its power core. The explosion was catastrophic, sending debris scattering across the moon's orbit. "Commander Rodriguez, report," Hale demanded, her heart racing. No response. Only static. Captain Hale's breath caught in her throat. They had been ambushed, fired upon without warning. And from the very people they had come to help. Made no sense. What had happened to these people? "Mayday, mayday!" shouted Lieutenant Garza from another ship in the convoy. "We're under attack too. Shields are failing. This is not a rescue mission anymore." Hale's mind raced. Someone on Callisto Station had decided that Earth's intervention was a threat. But who? And why? The shift in power. Back on Earth, the situation quickly spiraled out of control. As news of the attack on the rescue convoy spread, panic swept across the globe. Military bases went into lockdown, and every available fighter ship was readied for deployment. A country's pride had been wounded. Earth had been attacked. The words war and retaliation surged through the media like wildfire. General Leonard Creighton, the head of UEF Strategic Command, stood before a holographic display in the war room. His expression grim. "We don't know who fired on our ships, but we can't let this go unanswered," he said, his voice steely and cold. The gathered generals and military leaders nodded in agreement. There's only one response to an unprovoked attack on Earth forces, Creighton continued. Full military retaliation. We must strike back before this escalates. At that moment, the Earth's political leaders, who had been divided over the issue of the colonization of Mars, united in a rare, almost eerie consensus. They needed to send a message. This could not stand. Not in a time when humanity was on the brink of expanding into the stars. The attack was an affront to human progress and unity. But there was something else, something even more dangerous, that lurked in the background. The discovery of alien technology on Mars had stirred new fears among Earth's elites. Could this be a new threat? Were they dealing with something more than rogue colonists? These questions hung heavily in the minds of Earth's leadership as they moved swiftly to enact their plan. The onset of war. It didn't take long for the UEF to mobilize. Within days, Earth's forces were prepared to launch a full-scale offensive. The decision was made to move against Callisto Station, not just to defend the fallen convoy but to assert dominance and retaliate for the attack. Target Callisto Station's main reactor, General Creighton ordered. We'll take out their ability to fight back and send a clear message. The warships lifted off from Earth's surface in unison, headed toward the moon. It was a war machine unlike any other, advanced, ruthless, and calculating. But Earth's leaders weren't just thinking about the immediate retaliation. They wanted to ensure that no one, be it rogue colonists or an unseen enemy, could ever challenge their dominion over space again. As the UEF ships neared the station, they received an unexpected transmission from Callisto. It was not a message from the station's inhabitants, but from an unidentified source, something alien. This is the Galactic Federation of Free Colonies, the voice crackled through the comms. We've been monitoring your military movements. The attack on your convoy was a misunderstanding. Cease your advance, or we will be forced to take action. General Creighton listened in disbelief. The Galactic Federation. What was this? Who are you? He demanded. We are a collective of independent colonies, the voice responded. Your intervention is seen as an act of aggression. If you choose war, it will not be one you can easily win. The message was clear. Earth was not the only power in the galaxy anymore. There were others, and they were willing to fight for their freedom. The final confrontation. War erupted across the galaxy. The UEF launched full-scale attacks against Callisto Station and any suspected rogue colonies. What started as a mission to rescue had turned into a full-blown interstellar conflict. No one knew who to trust. Was it Earth's fault for overstepping? Or had the colonies of Mars and its moons been the instigators all along? On the front lines, Captain Marissa Hale's ship, the Titan, engaged in a desperate battle with the remaining ships from the Galactic Federation. The once proud Earth forces were now facing a growing resistance from a well-coordinated coalition of colonies and alien factions. Captain Hale, now a war-hardened leader, sat in the command chair, gripping the arms as her ship's hull shuddered under fire. We're not retreating, she said, her voice determined. We'll fight until the end. But in her heart, she knew it was no longer just about Callisto Station. The future of humanity itself hung in the balance.